What is going on, everybody? I'm Xan, and this is Capture the Point, our nonsense debate contest where we pit two members of our crew against each other in order to be named the champ. Let's meet this week's combatants. The first one is the challenger to the throne, the man who's been screwed over more by these questions and debates than anybody else. Xan, me. And the other combatant is the current reigning, defending, well, sometimes defending champion of Capture the Point, Mazentius on the East Coast.
Man, like Brock Lesnar, you know, you pick your points to defend your title.
Every couple months or something.
Yeah.
Our moderator for this week is going to be the flower girl, Secret Kitty.
Yay. You ready for some more tiebreaker questions like that, right?
Oh my god.
I am.
No. We also have Minister Yi in the audience here who will be pitching in with some help, either quipping along or actually, doling out some reasonable advice there. We'll see.
Hello, everyone.
Last time he was in the audience, he was trying to push for Iris.
Oh, it was not a push. It was a decision. It was done.
Nope. But if this is your first Capture the Point, then we will take a quick look into our rules. We will have two debate round. Judge chooses who goes first in any way they choose or any way they please. Both contestants have 3 minutes for their opening statement. Then there's a 10-minute open floor back and forth between them. The judge will award the points to whoever they believe win the round. In case there's a tie, there will be the tiebreaker round, which seems to be really popular nowadays. So I will be handing it over now to our moderator for the week, Secret Kitty.
Yay. Okay, so the first question today is for what is the scariest horror movie villain in a movie?
Ooh.
Wait, what?
Right,
I
yeah.
thought it was character.
Character, sorry. And we use character loosely here with quotation marks on that because
Yes. Scariest character from a horror movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was the question I got.
Yeah. Sorry, I worded that weird. But anyways, yeah. Character loosely used there with some quotation marks. Minister, do you have a coin to flip today?
I do.
No.
The mental coin is
All right.
flipping
Whose heads
in
and
the
whose
air,
tails?
and it's going to be Mez going first. There we go.
He doesn't even ask us which side.
Alright.
I
He doesn't try
know.
to fake it at all. He's just like decides. All right.
Alright. That's good. It's good enough, I guess. Alright. So we'll have the 10-minute 3-minute open thing. Or start thing.
Mm-hmm.
Opening statement.
Opening statement. Yep.
Alrighty. Are you ready, Mez?
Yeah.
Alright. Start 3, 2, 1.
Alright, so for me, the character I chose was the videotape from The Ring. Not the girl, just the tape. Because that's the true fear is, it's tapes, really. But just having this thing that if you watch it, and it's also going to the fact that it's like during this time it was actually using videotapes more than DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
But having this tape that if you watch it couldn't just kill you. You're like not knowing something. It was like your friend just hands it to you. It's like, oh, you should watch this movie. It's a cool movie or something like that. But knowing like something like that can exist where it's like, oh, if you just watch this one thing, your kind of fate is sealed kind of things. Like, the girl's, she's something else. But the tape itself, having a piece of physical media where it's like, it seals your fate for you, is scary. And that was like kind of my whole point. It's like, having something like that, and it being also antiquated media now, is like, imagine if you like updated to like a DVD or just like a digital thing. It's like, it's not as scary as having this ancient relic being the thing that would murder you. It's like it being connected to like, oh, it knows when you watch the movie and then it gives you a call, and you have 7 days or you die. It's like that's scary to me, that this tape is gonna kill you. Not the girl, she doesn't matter. It's the tape itself. And that's it for me.
All right. Minute 39 for you. Okay. Are you ready, Zane?
Yes.
All right. Let's start. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so for my pick of the scariest character from a horror movie, I chose the creepiest thing I could think of. The little jigsaw puppet, Billy, from the Saw franchise. Like, this character, he is the mascot of this series, okay? Like, his face is plastered all over the posters, and, like, he's the one that's always popping up on the TV screen, and he's probably the scariest little thing I've ever seen, okay? First of all, the overall design of this puppet is freaky. He got this ragged, jet black hair, the white, almost like skeletal face, his beady little red eyes, and the fact that he just rides on his little tricycle or his bike or to deliver to be the bearer of bad news is like one of the like scariest thing you can see in any kind of horror movie. Like, if the movie was just based around a murdering puppet named Jigsaw, nobody would even like had a problem about that. Nobody would complain about it. It probably would have been scarier, I think. Like, imagine the terror of seeing this like frightful little murder puppet every time he came out to deliver his puzzles, or when he just popped up on the TV screen and was like laughing and like, going nuts or whatever, something like that. Like, from the moment we see him, he's moving on his own, he's talking on his own. And honestly, when I first saw the trailers for this movie, I thought the scary little clown puppet was like the main antagonist of this movie. I thought it was gonna be him doing the puzzles, and like maybe he had been possessed or something like that, whatever. I actually breathed a sigh of relief when I found out it wasn't a demonic possessed puppet and it was just some crusty old man. I was like, okay, that's I can deal with that. The fact that the actual Jigsaw killer himself, the old man, uses this puppet as his delivery method instead of like himself, like he doesn't show up on the TV screen and says like, hey, I'm gonna deliver the bad news for you or whatever. He uses the puppet because the puppet is terrifying. Like, this thing is up there telling you the way you're going to die. He shows you that Billy, and his name is Billy, for Christ's sake. He has a name. Like, that's so weird that he has a name. Like, that's not the killer's name. This is his own puppet's name. Is a really terrifying figure of this movie. So that's why I think Billy, the puppet, is the scariest character from a horror movie. All right.
Okay. That's 220. Alright. You guys ready for your 10-minute friendly debate?
Yeah.
Okay. And go.
Alright, so it's like, we've all seen like puppets as villains before. Like, they've done it in Angel and Buffy, where the puppet was the actual villain, or even in Batman. It's like, it's kind of scary, but not as scary as having the person behind the puppet being the actual villain. So like, if Billy was the villain in this, it wouldn't be that scary. It was just the environment and the man behind controlling it that made it more
boy,
scary.
Are you serious? That crusty old man was not as scary. Imagine Billy, because like the whole thing about puppets is that they're all like murder little puppets with like knives and stuff like that. Can you imagine a puppet who was setting puzzles and stuff like that? And let alone, I wasn't even like mentioning him as like the main villain. I was saying if the movie would have been based around him, people wouldn't have complained. I'm just saying he's the scariest character from that franchise. I'm not scared of the old man. The puppet, when he comes trotting out on his little bicycle to deliver the bad news, is the scariest thing about that movie. Like, when I first saw that, I was like, oh shit, like, little freaking, like a little panic attack from seeing him. I was like, please tell me he's not the main.
Creepy and scary are not the same thing. It's creepy, it's not scary. I'm not jumping in fear in this.
Character.
Just the little creaking of the bicycle is like, oh, okay, it gives you a nice creepy vibe. But it's not scary to you at all. But knowing that there's a tape out there in the world that would murder you just by watching it, that is scary.
No, it's
like that's
not.
something. That's something
because
to fear.
the tape is not actually doing the killing. Like,
because you can escape the puzzle if you figure out the puzzle. It's not gonna do anything. It's like once you see the tape, you're done. That's it. You have 7 days.
But the tape is not. The tape is the delivery method. The tape is as real. I mean, as my puppet. And they both delivery systems of bad news. The only difference is like mine has a face, and you can escape it. You can watch it, and he might get you again. That creepy little puppet, he's scary as hell. Your tape there's nothing to it, Like, I can see where you're going for the tape. And you kind of already mentioned it. It's like an outdated thing in this day and age. Like if somebody saw a tape now, you wouldn't be scared of it. A lot of people wouldn't even know what to do with this thing.
Exactly.
Like the scariest thing about the tape would be if anyone still had the instrument and needed to play it. Like that's the scariest thing I could think of. Like even in its time, the tape would be scary to people who only knew of its existence. Like if we're just sticking into like the time frame of when like those movies came out and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it would only be scary to people who knew of it. If they didn't, then they wouldn't necessarily be afraid of the tape before they played it because they have no idea what it does. And then afterwards, after they played it, they wouldn't be scared of the tape anymore. They'd be scared of the girl coming after them or the phone call.
But
like
you still have like the legends of the tape going around, and that's what's scary about it. The fact that
legends of the tape. The legend isn't of the legend is of the girl though. The people getting attacked by her and like her Babe Ruthing your time of death.
But the whole thing is like the people are dying because they're seeing this one tape.
Yeah, but I'm saying
because they're in possession of the tape.
The tape becomes insignificant once you already watch it. Once you watch the tape, it becomes insignificant and you die. And if you don't know about the tape beforehand, then you don't really know anything about it. You're not really scared of it.
It's insignificant to the person that watches it. I'm talking about the other people who didn't watch it, but they know the existence of the tape. They know that there's a tape in the world that can murder you, or like bring about your death. This puppet is not doing anything to you.
Puppet is. He's setting up these traps. He's masterminding these traps.
No,
he's not just
Jigsaw's masterminding the traps.
Listen, I was saying like if the puppet was the bad guy, but the fact is Jigsaw is doing these things. His proxy, his freaking mascot is the puppet. And the tape isn't the one killing you either, okay? You're not getting a phone call from the tape saying I'm gonna kill you. You're getting a phone call from the girl.
A phone call.
So don't try to make it seem like, oh, the phone call's on the other side of the phone trying to call these people because like you're trying to do that thing like, oh, the puppet's not killing it. Well, now is the tape. Tape's not killing it, okay? The little girl coming out the TV screen is the one that's doing the killing.
But so you're dying because of the tape. You're dying because you viewed the tape. You're not dying because you saw the puppet.
But the puppet is the one delivering the bad news. If you see the puppet, you're gonna be in a place where you can die. It's the whole point.
If you see the tape, you're gonna die, and there's no escaping it.
No, not if you see the tape. I mean, you can. The difference is like if you see my puppet, it's already too late. You can see the tape and be like, you know what? I'm just not gonna watch this tape. I'm gonna like throw it away, or I'm gonna like not put it in my VCR, which I don't have anymore. Like if you see the puppet, you're already too late. You're already in the bad news like arena. You're in his area.
You can also escape that. That's it.
You could escape the tape too.
He gives you a chance to escape.
It's not a guaranteed death. It's not a guaranteed death for the tape.
If you watch it, yeah, you
don't. You can pass it on. Did you forget that if you make somebody else watch the tape,
if you watch someone else, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of the same things happen in Jigsaw. With Jigsaw, like, you might have to sacrifice somebody else in order to escape, or sacrifice the body part or something like that. They're both things are like instruments of delivery. So you have to sacrifice somebody else or a stranger for in another thing, or in the Jigsaw puzzles, you have to do this thing. They're both delivery methods.
Again, that's the only difference scary because now
the only difference is mine. If you see the puppet, you're already in there. If you see the tape lying on your counter or on the table, you can be like, I'm just not gonna watch this tape. I'm gonna like kick it out of here or give it to somebody else.
Like, that's if you know of it though. If you know, like, but if someone
then it's not scary to you. If you don't know of it. I just mentioned that earlier. If you don't know anything about the tape, it's not scary to you.
If someone tries to like set you up for death, and like they just show you that tape, like now what you're fearing is like other people trying to kill you because they're trying to save themselves.
They're like Clockwork Oranging you or something like that. So wouldn't the person be more scarier than the tape itself? Is like,
but the tape is the instrument.
Like, this person's like attaching me to my chair and like leaving my eyes open or something like that. Like that's not how it happens. Like with the Jigsaw killer, with the puppet, the scary little puppet, once you see him, you're in his arena. Like, yes, you're right. You're not gonna like see him like, trotting around down the street or something like that, like chasing you. But like once you do see him, that means he's already got you. You see the puppet there. Jigsaw's delivering the bad news through the puppet. He doesn't do it himself because the puppet is scary as hell.
It's creepy. That's it.
It's a scary puppet, man, okay?
Not scary. The
scary
visuals
puppet.
of it,
it's a clown face puppet. It's scary as hell, man. It's riding a little bicycle. Why he has a little bike for? We don't know the story of this whole puppet, man. Like, we don't know what his deal is. Well, he could have just been on the TV screen. Why he got to come out on a bike or whatever? He's moving by himself. Like, that thing is weird, man, okay? It's a scary little puppet, and it's scary for the fact that whenever you do see him, it's too late. You're already in the bad news.
You can say the same thing about the tape. It's like whenever you can.
Because it's a different thing. Like, you have to actively put the tape into a VCR to get the benefits, or to get the benefits of the death. You know what I'm saying?
The benefits of the death.
Well, to get the repercussions of death,
The
and whatever,
outcome,
stuff like
yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? If you see it on the counter, you're not gonna be like, oh my god, like this. Just be like, oh, excuse me,
If you
tape,
see,
get
if
out
you
of
see
here.
the puppet, if you see the puppet sitting on the counter, you're not gonna freak out either.
You will absolutely freak out. Don't you
It's
lie.
all about the
Don't
situation.
You lie. Don't you lie. If you saw a puppet sitting on your counter, like, how did that puppet get here? Hold on, what the fuck? Am I in a trap right now? Like, you don't know, because, like, that puppet can be, when that puppet comes on, that means bad news. You don't know if a pig man's going to come and stab you in the neck. You don't know if Jigsaw's already got you set up for a trap somewhere. Seeing a tape on a counter does not mean instant death. You can throw that thing away. Huh, get out of here. Pass it on to
Throw the
somebody
puppet
else.
away. Puppet's not sentient. That's it.
But you don't know the significance of the puppet. You don't know if it means somebody's, like...
And you don't know what's
somebody
in the tape. How did the tape get there?
Doesn't matter. You can get rid of the tape.
Yeah,
The tape,
and doesn't
there's
matter.
nobody
It
protecting
doesn't
the tape.
matter
There's
Jigs-
nobody
how
protecting the tape.
Billy gets there.
Okay, there's nobody protecting the tape. Yeah, it does matter because there's a pig man who could put Billy somewhere. Okay, pig man could just put Billy, distract you, bam, stabbed in the neck, you got caught. Now you're in the bad news zone. Okay.
So the
Tape-
Pigman is the scary one there, not
No.
Tape.
Billy is
not
because Billy is the mascot. He's the front runner. He's the one in, like, leading the way. He's out there. He's like, hey, if I'm here, you're in trouble. Tape
Nope.
is like, tape is there. Get out of here, tape. Who's putting this tape here? Probably somebody. Probably my worst enemy. I don't care. Get it out of here.
It could be your best friend who's just trying to survive.
Then, hey, listen. Then that means, but to you, but if you know about it, then, like, if you knew about the tape, then you just throw it. You'd be like, oh my god, my best friend's trying to kill me. I'm gonna throw it away. But if you don't know about the tape and you pop it in, then you're not scared of the tape until you pop it in and you're like, oh my god, what the hell is just happening? And even then, like I said, once you watch the tape, it becomes insignificant because you're scared of the fact that this little girl is gonna come and kill you.
Yeah, and once you're in the trap, you're not scared of the puppet anymore. You're worrying about your life to get out of the trap.
No, you're
Like,
scared of that puppet because the puppet is like,
I don't even think
why
people
does he
who
keep-
in
why
the
does he keep
movie.
popping up?
I don't think people in the movie are scared of the puppet. They're more worried about their
serious?
life because of the
Are you
trap they're
serious?
in.
Do you see the fear in their eyes when that puppet comes rolling in?
Because they usually have a bear trap on their face. That's the fear is coming from.
And then the little puppet shows up on the TV screen, and they get even freaked out even more. Okay?
Nope.
Yes.
It's the
That puppet is
situation
scary.
they're scared of.
That puppet is scary because they know I got caught by this guy. I got caught by what's his face. This puppet is scaring me right now. He's freaky. Okay.
Nope.
The puppet never becomes insignificant because he's always popping up. Jigsaw
He is-
never pops on the
he
TV
is in-
screen.
he is
He never pops on the
insignificant.
TV screen. He's like, oh,
It's
man,
all about
would
the
you like to play a
trap.
game? Would you like to play a game? No, man. The puppet is always coming up saying like, nah, like you can't. Oh, you escaped my previous trap. Here's another one. Like you're gonna escape when I tell you to. The puppet is the headliner. Okay, he's the scary one.
Nope. Still
Yes.
think the tape is far more scarier. Having something like that, especially in now,
Okay,
like people who
this time.
that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
That was very strange.
It's an interesting
'Cause-
one.
Yeah.
What?
So that was an interesting one.
Yeah.
Both your picks, in
'Cause,
fact,
like-
were interesting. The
Yeah,
tape
'cause they're
actually
both,
made me
like-
bust up.
Because they're both like items. They both don't really move. You know. I
That
guess.
was what I
They're
said.
both
They're
they're both
delivery
very
systems.
scary.
They're both delivery systems.
terrifying.
Puppet
Yeah.
does move, though. It's a stupid thing on a
Kind
tricycle.
of, but not because it's
Yup, The
alive.
puppet does move.
It's
Yep, the puppet does move on the bike.
it's kind of weird because like what's in the tape is scarier than like the puppet himself. But like you guys were going on about like the just seeing the tape, its physical form somewhere, and for like I think like newer generations, they're not gonna put in the effort. I don't know. Maybe they would, like if it's a cool thing to do with your friends or something. Is that what kids
Like,
do nowadays?
If
don't
I
know.
would say, like as a 1 minute closing statement thing, it's like if you have kids doing this Tide Pod challenge thing, this tape would obviously go off on a viral thing.
Oh,
if you were
yeah.
doing the ring tape
Killing
challenge.
their friends.
Hold up. So we're talking about the tape in 2018.
Yeah.
They didn't sell the instrument needed to play tapes anymore. VCRs, come on, man. Let's not
Well, I
play
got a
silly here.
question. Can that tape still be, let's say someone's filming the tape or live broadcasting the tape, would that still count as you watching the tape?
Yes, because I think that was one of the things they did. In the
So
movie.
that is
Oh, yeah.
actually
I think
frightening because someone could set you up like, hey man, by the way, this is coming from the tape of death.
I'm not gonna say anymore because this is beyond the 10-minute mark.
Yeah,
already,
I
so,
forgot the closing statement.
Yeah.
Okay, let me reset the time. What order do we do the closing statement in? The same way that we started the.
No, I mean that was just
No.
my. I already
Yeah,
did my closing
I mean,
statement.
We
Xan
can
do-
go with that. We all talk.
Yeah.
We both talk right now anyway, so it's fine.
Okay. I don't know. It's so weird because like the tape itself is not scary, but the contents are scary. But you didn't really go with that. And then the doll is not that. It's like scary at first, kind of like seeing it. It looks
Mhm.
creepy,
Well, what would
but it's
you
also
be
not really a
afraid of?
thing that kills.
What would you be more afraid of, by a tape or the puppet rolling in with the little bell? Bing bing.
If I watch the tape, but if it's just like seeing them in their physical form, it would be the doll. So I guess because we didn't talk about the contents of the tape, we just talked about seeing it like on a counter or something. I'm gonna have to go with the doll then.
Oh, okay.
This is
Yeah,
unfair.
I
I was
I'm
gonna
not
say
too-
like
should have won that.
you could have been like instead of like what you would have been afraid of, like just who made the better argument for their, a pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I only went off of like what you guys said in your arguments,
Yeah.
right? Because you guys
Yep.
were talking about it seeing on a counter, like that's not scary for the tape, but it is if you watch it and you're like, you know,
Yeah.
I kind of agree with Mez
Yeah.
on this one. I kind of think the idea of the tape is more frightening, especially with that, because that's why I asked that question. If someone like sets you up to watch this thing, like oh yeah, this is not TV. What is this? You know, you end up watching it by accident, then you're screwed. So the fear of even watching TV would come up on a more universal aspect, where like the puppet,
yeah.
Yeah,
puppet, you're gonna get some people that's gonna get creeped out, and then some other people are like, what the fuck is this? Like in confusion. So that's why I would kind of go with the tape, but that's the audience.
But the things you guys are talking about, like what you're talking about, it sounds like you're thinking about the scariest theme from a horror movie or the scariest idea from a horror movie. We're talking about the scariest character, so you have to think about the tape as a character
And
in
the tape
itself.
is a character. That's the best part.
but by itself, it's not really a scary character.
I mean,
like,
the
just
contents
tape
of-
as its physical form.
Yeah,
The scariest
contents
concept
of it.
It'll be
The
the
contents
scariest
of the tape.
concept of it.
yeah.
Like it'll be the scariest concept probably.
But the contents of the tape would be like it's dialogue or something, you know, if we're making it a character. Whatever. Anyways,
Yeah.
this was a very weird one.
By the way, the image I drew up myself of like the phone of the tape making a phone call to you, like
Yeah, it made
Just
me
saying
laugh
it.
too.
I do like
tape
that
is calling
pic
you, like,
though,
you're,
man.
you're gonna die in 7 days, bitch. Like,
It's like it's not
Oh
the
my
girl,
God.
it's the tape.
All right, you guys ready for your second one?
yeah,
Okay. So the second.
this one's might be even weirder than the first one. That's might be saying a lot
Interesting.
because this is really open ended.
It was. I mean, like, there's a lot of
But I
possibilities.
like that. I like those I like different questions.
All right. So this one was, if you could make a comic book, what would it be? And I just asked to describe the main character or like the story or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so, who went first last time?
Mess.
I did.
Okay. Okay. So it's your turn now, Dan.
Copy.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so for my character, or for my comic book, sorry, I would think more of it like being like a graphic novel type. So I like the idea of like, going more into the psyche of people other than just like the action scenes or like cool powers or anything like that. I like delving into the minds of like what makes a character other than the stuff that they just do. So I didn't really get too hung up on like my name for the character or anything like that, like because it's not really like paramount to the comic book or the graphic novel that I was making. For my character, I thought of something that was like a story that has always kind of like stuck with me, and I always like the idea of it, which is a guy who like somehow acquires powers. Again, like it could be in any way. Like he can get like shocked, or he can like have a test done on him, or he can have like whatever bitten by a radioactive something or another, or he can just like it can just be like an X-Men thing where he comes like it comes into of age. It just activates in him something like that. He acquires these small little powers where it can be like strength or speed or something like that, just like one of these things. Probably I would go like strength. Like he has like minor strength, right? So he starts using his abilities to be a hero for his town, and like he's doing this stuff, and he's like every day he's out there helping his city and his town, and it's like small things. He's not really like noticed that much, but he does get like a good couple like here and there's from people like attaboys and stuff like that. But what eventually starts to happen is that another hero comes into the city, right? But he's much more extravagant. This is like think like a big Spider-Man type hero where he can fly. This hero can fly. He has like really like strength. He has like lasers coming out of his eyes, like Superman kind of a hero like that, right? And like our character, the main character, starts to get jealous of this hero because he's like, this was my thing. Like I was the hero for this town. Like I was the one doing this stuff, and like he's taking it away from me. So like the hero, like he's letting his jealousy like rage within inside him, and he's getting more and more jealous and upset with the fact that nobody wants him anymore as a hero because he's not needed. He's overlooked. He's insignificant in this like god hero that's just arrived, So he slowly, as time goes on, starts to turn into villainy because the people, they don't want him as that. So he thinks of ways now to like hurt the people in his town, the people in his city, because they overlooked him. They forgot about him. They told him he wasn't needed anymore. And he's trying to think of ways to kill this new hero because he wants his people back. He wants that adulation and stuff like that from his people back. So eventually he like starts to like think of like, he can't like take him on. He's like, I can't take him on one-on-one, obviously. So he tries to go after the people that this hero loves and stuff. And that's kind of like more of it. I'm not gonna get like too deep into the story because I don't want to like kill my time that way. But that's pretty much like the overall synopsis.
This time.
Okay.
All right. Were you mostly done?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like finishing up there anyway.
Okay. You ready, Mez?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, for my comic book, I was more focused on creating kind of a environment rather than a story around a specific person. So, like, it would be based around like 10 issue comic arcs of following people through a world where like all the technology we have like advanced and exists, but all the information about it doesn't exist anymore. So no one knows how any of this technology was made. There's no like all of the history of everything is gone. So people who have the technology but they don't know how to use it. So it just kind of exists as things of like relics of the past, this advanced technology that no one really understands. So the world kind of goes to a point where it kind of becomes like people don't know how to use anything anymore. So it's kind of like regressing back to a wild type area. So in like 10 issue arcs, you'll be following people like kind of going through the world and trying to like go through this like kind of apocalyptic wasteland of advanced technology and going through how to figure this out and kind of like rebuilding societies and ways. And like you see like how kind of stories of these people cross paths rather than just following one main character and like keeping it going that way, where it's more about the stories of the people and the world rather than stories of one specific person or one specific group of people. And that's what I got.
Okay. Let me reset the time. Alright. You ready
Okay.
for your debate?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. And go.
Okay. I mean, what I can say about your story, it's a good one. It sounds like a good one. I'm not gonna lie. It sounds good, but it feels like it's really like impersonal in a way. Like it feels like it's gonna focus more on like the ancient technology aspects of it more than like the people itself. And I know you mentioned you're gonna have the 10 issues where it delves into the people and stuff like that, but I feel like it won't really get a chance to get into like character development or personalities of the people.
The character is the world. It's not really meant to be the people. It's meant to be the world and the way they're interacting with each other. It's like,
I can
that's
see
the
that working
character
for
of the book is the world.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's an interesting concept, but I could see that working more for like a 10-part TV series other than in comic book form. Like in comic book form, I don't know how that would play all that well with like people. Like I said, it would probably do better in a TV series where like you can have these little anthology episodes and stuff like that. And it might play out much more better there because you can actually have a visual of things. Whereas in comic books, like especially with the way you explain things like technology and stuff like that, it would I think it would like how technology is like the people don't have a name for it anymore. It would look and play out more better in like a physical form, like an actual like spectrum, like in TV or something like that.
Yeah, but you still have images in comics. It's the
I
whole
know,
point of
I
it.
know. I'm not saying that you don't have images, obviously, but I'm just saying like the look of it would play out much more better in TV as you watch people actually like try to tinker with these items and stuff like that. Like in comic books, it's just like a snippet of that image and stuff like that. Whereas in TV, they'll actually get to like mess around with the items and be like, what is this thing? Like what's the name for it? Like how do we use this kind of stuff? Like you actually get to explore them more because your stuff is based around that and not the actual people. It's based on the world.
It's based on the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, and then like another point I was gonna go into it, and I forgot to do it in my opening thing, was that like the main reason I'll be going to like 10-issue arcs is because I feel like within those 10-issue arcs I would have different writers and artists come on as well, so you get different stories from different people telling in that world.
It sounds all right. I'm just saying, like, if you could do the same thing, like, it sounds like it'll play better on a TV where you can have different writers and different directors, like, having their own take in the world. It would play out better there.
But anything you could be played out between comics and movies. I mean, comics and TV.
I don't think so, because you have something like Watchmen that played out really well in comics and didn't really play out that well.
I said comics and TV.
Oh,
comics and movies are harder to do. But, yeah, like, going into, like, your things, like, it's... I don't know if... Like, superheroes and power things are so played out in comics. It's like, it's something that's... There's no room for it right now in a comic book world.
And this is why this is, like, kind of a take on that. That's why I said the powers are kind of, like, overshadowed with the idea of what makes a hero, or, like, what do you do when, like, you try to be something, or try to do something good, but you get overlooked by something better. Like, do you try to, like, improve yourself or go along with it, or do you let it like run with like run at you? You know what I'm saying? Or eat at you to the point where you just become the thing that you were trying to defend your city against, and that's what happens with this character.
It kind of sounds like the plot from Incredibles. Like when you were explaining that, I was thinking of Syndromes, like where he creates problems for himself to be the hero, and then tries to eliminate the other heroes so that he's the only hero there.
No, because he wasn't like embodied. He was just like really like a smart dude and stuff like that. And he was like a fan of hero. Like heroes had already existed in his world. Like this is not.
And then he eliminated them because he wanted to be the star. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's not exactly 1-to-1, but it gave me that feel of like your guy wants to be the main attraction, so he's like getting rid of everyone else so that he's the star and he's the hero of the place.
No, because this guy is, he's turned to villainy to become the hero and stuff like that. Whereas, and there's not like a whole bunch of heroes trying to get rid of him and stuff like that. But in, Incredibles, he was getting rid of heroes, or he was giving everybody abilities and stuff like that. So that way they, like, nobody is special. Like, that's not, like, he was trying to make it so that nobody is special. Like, that's what his whole thing was. Like, I'll give everybody all this stuff and you guys become, like, whatever. You'll be nothing, right? Where, like, my guy is trying to get rid of his hero because he wants to be the main one. He wants to be the only hero. He thinks that this is the way to become like the hero in these people's eyes again and stuff like that. It's by killing or getting rid of this extravagant hero. It's I mean, there's stuff with everything. Like I can look at your stuff and be like, yeah, okay, there's other mediums or other stuff that plays into that as well. But I'm taking your story for what it's worth and be like, okay, this is the story he wants to tell. And like I said, it's not like a bad thing. I just said it would work in a better medium other than what comic books it is. You know what I'm saying? Other than like reading it all the time like that, I think it might get like a little bit like boring for people. Whereas if you're watching it, they might get more from it.
But I also feel like with my story, there's more you can, being that it's a anthology thing and continuing stories with different writers and people and like different stories within it. you can do a lot more than with your story, because your story has one hero, one villain, and I mean it's kind of reverse roles, but
That's the whole. Yeah, that's the.
but
The first
I mean,
guy's not really the
how
villain.
far can you go with that?
It's gonna go for a graphic novel. That's what I said. It's not gonna be a comic series. It's a graphic novel, much in the way of Watchmen was just a one and done kind of deal. It's gonna be like this, you know, just a small little graphic novel, a small series where it's like, this is the story, all compressed in. It's not gonna go on. It's not gonna be like the adventures of this villain man or whatever. It's gonna be like, this is his story and this is what it is. That's it. Like he's, you know, whatever the outcome of this story is, how it's gonna end. Whether or not he kills the guy or he gets killed in the end or whatever, that's gonna be it. But it's more about like digging into the psyche of this individual who wanted to do the right thing and just gets overlooked by his own community because he doesn't have the best powers or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
it wasn't
I mean,
like he was in the way or anything like that. He
Yeah.
was trying to help and stuff like, but he gets overlooked.
Going into this, then I'm gonna try to go into this like a different perspective. Then like going into it as like in the business end is as like Kitty was like someone trying to sell this stuff. It's like yours is a very limited way of doing it because you have that one series and that's about it. It's like mine, you continue on, and like you said, it can be turned into a TV show. So there's more ways of turning that comic into more money. So if we go into the business aspect, my comic and my idea will be more profitable than yours would, because yours is so limited to that one story.
Yeah, it's limited to this one story, but if you get a good writer, this story can turn into something really big. Whereas your series trying to like sell this pitch to like a comic book thing, like, oh, it was like, we're not worried about the people, we're just worried about the world, and like it's like this whole thing with technology and nobody knows the name of it. Like that one is much more harder to sell to people than mine, where it's much more relatable. And it's like the story of like, what would you do if you had powers but somebody else came along and just made you look like insignificant, like made you look weaker than what you are. Like what would you do? Would you just live with that kind of stuff? You still have the powers, you still have to live day to day, and you still, you know, were known as a hero. Do you become jealous? Do you come in rage with this new hero, or with the people who like kind of betrayed you? Or do you, you know, aspire to do something else? Like you can sell that much more better than you can sell your story.
I think they each have their own selling points. You can't say you can sell one better. So I feel like
I'm just saying, you're trying to say like mine's is limited because like I don't have the one story, but like
you
one
yourself
story,
saying, you're saying you're limiting it to that graphic novel. I'm not saying it's limited. I'm saying you yourself are saying it's limited.
Well, I mean, this is all hypothetical stuff. I don't like, we can talk about whatever. Like, who knows if my story would get picked up or anything like that. But I'm saying, if you give somebody a limited scope of things, not a limited scope, but if you
is
give
for
them
it
like,
to be a short story, not a continuing series.
it's gonna be a graphic novel. It'll be contained. But look at Watchmen. Watchmen was contained. That was like in itself just a limited thing. It didn't go off to do anything else. And
yeah, but if you compare Watchmen to Walking Dead, where Watchmen had that one thing that was contained, but Walking Dead is still continuing, and that's still selling more.
Like the comic series.
Yeah, the comics, the TV shows, like it's continuing way more than
possibly
the Watchmen could have.
But I mean, they're like their topic is something that's such more relatable. It's zombies. It's not a world with no technology or like this world that you're creating. Like I'm talking about, my story is much more relatable.
Zombies is relatable.
Zombies are not relatable, but it's easier to digest for people. It's something that's like, yeah, okay, we know of this. We know of zombies. Okay, that's the story. That's easy. Yeah, we can keep pumping these out. That's fine. The story is just zombies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything else that's happening in this world with the characters and stuff like that, interaction is fine. But the selling point was like, this is what's happening. It's zombies. Like that, you know. That's
not even what's interesting about Walking Dead. Like, I'm not
but I'm saying that was their selling point.
Yeah,
I know Walking Dead delves into much more stuff, but
I'm
the
just
whole point,
talking about
the selling
the
point
format
was zombies.
of it. I'm talking about
My
the format
selling point
of
the
one
power.
is the. I'm talking about the format of it being one ongoing versus one limited series. You can do a lot more with an ongoing series.
So is that like? So that's the criteria for it being successful, is just whether or not it makes more money in the long run. Like, I'm pretty sure Watchmen, you know, is much more critically acclaimed. If you would ask people which thing would be better overall, would it be Watchmen in its limited series, or was it going to be the ongoing series of Walking Dead?
This time.
I mean, it'd probably be close.
This time.
All right.
Okay.
Dang, you guys were still going.
This is open-ended. Open-ended stuff,
Yeah.
we can go for like
I know.
minutes.
Okay. How much is it for closing arguments or closing statements?
It's up to you. It's up to you. However much time you want to like dictate to us to to talk and stuff.
Oh, okay. I'll give you guys 2 minutes because you guys had a lot to say. I think it's usually like a minute. You guys had a lot to say.
I don't think that. Yeah.
All right.
All right. I mean, we can go back and forth if you want, but I'll just say, like, you know, going off of the point I was making before, like I said, between Walking Dead and this thing, as you were bringing up, yeah, they'll probably be pretty close, but I'm pretty sure people would prefer the Watchmen more than the Walking Dead, at least critically acclaimed. Like the measure for success doesn't have to be money, because we know, like, other mediums where, you know, video games and movies, where the things that make the most money isn't the thing that's exactly the best, you know, the best product. So even though Minds is just going to be one graphic novel, this doesn't necessarily mean it'll be, like, not successful. You know, and if, like I said, if you have a decent writer, like a good writer who can actually, you can say, hey, this is your story. You have free reign to dig in there and get it done and stuff like that. You could actually get something really unique and something really cool. And then it could be critically acclaimed. You know? So, that's me.
Okay.
And for mine, it's like basically it's almost the same idea. It's like I'm giving the free reign to these writers, just provided it's like you're in this world, do whatever you want for this your arc. So I'm going almost about it the same way, but I'm continuing that world rather than limiting it to just one small, like, limited series. It's continuing that world with multiple limited series within it, giving it to different writers and different artists to create what they feel like within this world. And I feel like it's an idea that you won't see very often. It's not played out superhero stuff. It's something new, and that's what I feel like the uniqueness of my comic would come from. And that's it.
Okay. I feel like you guys had both really good points because I do like I don't know why I say horror, villain stuff, because that is what he turns into for your Xan. But I don't know. And then I also like Mez's because it's like a world, and like it makes me think of like Sandman, where like the theme is dream, but it's never just his story. It also like goes into like other people's story and whatever. What else did you guys have? And then we did talk about kind of like in our chat that it would be like if you're kind of like pitching it to somebody to pick up your comic, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not doing this on purpose, okay? I promise.
It's fine, yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Time breaker timing. I know what that means.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not giving it. I'm not doing it on purpose. I just do like the idea that you can like have so much stuff happen in this one world, and like there's like so much liberty to it as long as you stay in the realm of like post-apocalyptic stuff, which is something I liked as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that one was actually it was so hard because it was so open-ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
they're totally different.
I liked it though.
Yeah.
The only problem with that one, I didn't have a problem with the question because you know me, I like to get into like making stories and stuff like that for like writing and stuff like that. So I love the question. The only problem was, and I realized it when we were starting it, I was like, we didn't tell each other what our picks were, so I didn't have anything to go like against. From like the first time I heard Mez's, and the same thing for me. Like the first time he heard mine was when we were actually delivering it.
Nice.
And it was like I had to think of points like on the spot, and I was like, oh shit, like I didn't like So that was the interesting part where I was like, oh, we didn't give each other, like, we didn't tell each other what the things were, so we had to, like, go off of it right now.
Yeah, I think that threw you guys off because I was like, I don't know if a story like that has been told for, like, a villain. Like, he had an example already, Incredibles. That's why I laughed, because that's what I thought about, too. I was like, The Incredibles, where the guy is, like, the villain.
This one seems
like,
more relatable, though. This one seems like you slowly see the process.
Yeah.
That's what like it was kind of like when we first started like the 10 minutes, it felt like more like less about debating and more like just critiquing of it.
Critiquing
and then as it went on, then we started getting more into like a huge debate.
Yeah.
Because we would like start comparing like the actual like business side of it, but yeah, it was like it's hard to like debate like are individual ideas because they both have merit.
And it's honestly it's hard for me to hate on a good story. That's why like I started mine by like my 10-minute thing by saying like there's a lot of stuff I like about your thing. Like the only thing I thought about it was like it might be a better TV series because I was like I can't hate on a good story, and that sounded like it'd be interesting to read or even like see.
I think when it comes to comics though, they sell if like the characters are more relatable. That's why I would kind of like voted for Xan's Birth of a Villain type of deal. Because every comic
I always thought about
or every issue could show when, maybe he doesn't make the choice to do something terrible this time. Or, like he's struggling with it. So, just on that aspect. But I did like I always like the post-apocalyptic stuff too. The relics of the past. Yeah. So, yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, that was hard. Because I did like both those topics and like... Oh, man, that was hard. Okay.
So we're going to the tiebreaker round.
We are.
Just as we planned, Secret. I mean, go ahead.
God, I wanted to avoid this, so I don't know what she's gonna bring up next. I wanted to avoid this one.
I have a real one. I was gonna troll you and be like, "What's the Latin name of the brown bear?"
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
And Mr. E died in his chair. In a laugh.
If you had just gotten one part of it, it would have been right. But
I would say like Ursa something.
That's already won. Look at that. He already won.
Oh my god.
Xan must be furious. These questions. Flowers.
Oh man.
I could see Xan's like hand, like his head in his hands right now, just like what is going on.
That's exactly where it's at. I'm like rubbing my temples. I'm like, oh man, here we go.
I have a real one for you though.
Oh Lord.
Okay. Okay. Alright. In Batman, the animated series, who was the voice actor for both Batman and the Joker?
Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill.
Alright, well, that was real
Jesus.
fast.
Yeah.
That was pretty easy.
Was there something else?
No, that was it.
I knew Mark Hamill, but good Lord, I didn't know Kevin Conroy. You said that really, really fast.
That was the one I was getting at. Like, I couldn't think of the Batman one. I knew Joker.
Like, my God.
I thought you would. I was like, hey, you know me and actors. You know me and actors. That applies to voice actors as well.
Now I know.
But like Mark Hamill is famous, so I was like, oh, they'll know that. And we just talked about Star Wars, so I was like, they'll know at least that one. And then Kevin Conroy is the voice of Batman, so I was like, that's easy too. Like,
that was super fast, man. Like that, I would never ask you a Batman animated series
I didn't know if Mez knew it or
ever
not.
again, man. That's too fast. Holy shit.
I didn't know if Mez knew it or not. Like, I mean, to be fair, I grew up watching Batman animated series, Batman Beyond.
Yeah, that's why. Once I knew when you said Batman animated series, I'm like,
I was like, I don't know.
I didn't watch Batman animated series.
You didn't watch it? Oh
no.
Man,
you know what you're missing, man. YouTube them joints up. They got full episodes.
It's on Amazon Prime.
I know
too.
of it.
Oh, nice.
Like I know of it, and I know of the voice actor, but I couldn't name him. Especially not that.
Oh.
If you give me yeah.
I've watched a lot of that, and then he's also does it for the Justice League and the Batman. He's Batman and Justice League shows, and like he just comes back all the time. That's the only reason because I don't know actors' names either. But he's the voice of Batman, so.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
I guess that means Xan.
Wow,
wins.
look at this.
Well.
I honestly didn't know you didn't know, Mez. I thought you were gonna say it like fast too. That's why I said it so fast, because I was like, if not, I would have hey, I would have waited to see. But
no, honestly, I was kind of confused. Like when she first said it, I was like, I know it's Mark Hamill. I can think of another one, but when she says who's the voice of Batman and Joker,
I thought they were the same person, possibly.
There was one actor.
Oh.
That, yeah, I thought it was like one actor that played both of them. I'm like, is there one actor that played Batman and Joker?
Me too. I was like, Mark Hamill.
I couldn't just do one. That's why, because it was too easy.
Yeah.
That's why I asked for both. And then I had Harley Quinn's as well, because I didn't know who it was, but I had to look it up. But I had the name just in case you both didn't know it.
Said at the same time, so.
Yeah. Well then. Xan won.
Oh, Xan
yeah,
won.
Xan won.
Justice. Yes.
Should have went with the
I
bear.
know.
When I heard the bear, that gave me a heart attack, man, it stopped my heart.
If she gave me the bear, if she would have given me the bear one, it would have been the continuing series of Xan getting screwed over by Kitty and stuff like that. It'd be like he's never gonna be the champion. Like always gets close, but gets taken away and the tiebreaker round.
I know. It's because you did know Ursa. That's like bear, literally.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I know that because of stars.
Yeah, Ursa Major.
Ursa Minor.
Yeah.
Ursa Major.
And Minor, I think. Oh man, that was good.
So
Why can't I have science questions?
champion. What's
I
that?
said, why can't I have science questions?
No, this is not a science debate thing.
It's a nonsense debate. It can be anything we
Yeah.
want.
It's not
It's nonsense. Anything.
It can be anything. You can't limit it.
In the topics of the stuff we're like debating and stuff like that. Like, are we gonna start debating about which flower is the best flower, or
Lord.
like?
We just debated a puppet versus a tape. Okay.
But that's in the realm of movies. They're from movies. Like,
You said the tape
Like,
is more scary
in
than
the
the
realm
lady.
of
I was
movies.
really
Oh.
finding that funny.
You know what? Going back to like the scariest characters, I would have chosen the victims themselves because they're so stupid and they always die. That would have been my choice. And you guys didn't pick that.
I was gonna pick something.
Ah!
Like,
Scariest character.
I was about to pick I was trying to find someone who like betrayed the main character to survive.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find one. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go for something else then. But like those are my things, like the friends who always like throw the other people into the traps.
Yeah. Oh man.
that's true. That actually happened a lot in Saw movies too. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
people
man.
betraying other people or
gotta
throwing
live.
them into pits. Yep.
Man, that was good.
Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Two good questions and a great tiebreaker finally, which all led to the crowning of a new champion.
The bear one was a good question, okay?
No, it was
Yes,
not.
it was.
I
That
feel
was
like
not
you
a-
only say it was great because you won it.
No, if you would have won with that question, I would have been like, okay, at least it was a cartoon question or whatever. But come on, like Latin? Who speaks Latin? Where is the point for me to even like study that or even look that up? Like that's totally weird. I would have to just know it like you did. Like, oh, that's it. You just have to know it.
What, Ursa?
Yeah.
Come on, everyone knows Ursa means bear.
Yeah. It's literally in Pokemon. There's a Pokemon named Ursa something.
Ursa something.
I don't know the Pokemon names. I name all my Pokemon when I catch them.
Exactly. So like, who the hell
Urs-
knows the name of the Pokemon then?
Ursula, I think is the name.
No.
Ursula. That's just the name. So that means that every woman named Ursula is a bear? Bear? Like their names means bear or something?
It comes from bear. That's the root word.
Oh wait, no, that's the villain. That's the little bird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she is as big as a
Ursula.
bear, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, you gotta wrap
Oh
this
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Mez, that puts you at 3-2 now. And puts me at 4-1.
Xan's a new champion.
At the top of the mountain. All by
It's
myself.
Teddy Ursa, by the way. Sorry. Anyways.
Oh. But yeah, that is gonna do it for us here at Capture the Point. I was gonna say Capture the Debate. Yeah, Capture the Point. Good questions, Kitty. I like those.
Yeah.
I like kind of original type of questions. So those were
Yep,
good.
open-ended.
But yeah. Thanks everybody for tuning in. This has been BitW Xan. Not saying goodbye forever, saying goodbye for now.